Hey, thank you for listening to another episode of Shut Up and Watch the Movie, but on YouTube.
If you like listening to us and you want to hear more, make sure you like this video and subscribe.
Awesome. Oh, okay. What up, guys? Back here with your favorite movie podcast, the only one to ever exist. Shut Up and Watch the Movie. You know it. We all know it.
And we all love it.
I'm Tyson.
I'm Kristina.
And each week, due to our radically different tastes in movies, we make each other watch a movie of the other one's picking. And we rotate each week. It's a little summary of what we do here on the show. I feel like we, for the new listener.
Uh-huh.
All right.
The one new listener we have.
You never know.
You never know. Hopefully we have a lot of new listeners.
I think we're going to have an influx. Because guess what, this week, I made Kristina watch Kangaroo Jack. The classic. You know it from the DVD bin. You know it from
That's where you would find this.
Your friend's DVD cabinet.
I had never heard of it before.
Well, trust me, I've grown up with this.
I know you love it.
Well, love is a strong word. I find it amusing in a meta-contextual sense. But before we do that, we do a little section on the show called the Tiny, Teeny Little Movie Corner, where we just talk about a little movie we saw in the past week. And maybe give a recommendation.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll let you go
Yep,
first.
I get to go first. Okay.
Don't mind me, I'm just going to crack open my Pepsi. So
make your noise.
Maybe don't speak while I'm doing it.
Okay. Are you done? You're not going to interrupt me now? Okay. I watched a movie called Down with Love, which I threw on because I was just like, oh, I just want something easy to watch. I was like, I've heard this is like a fun little rom-com. It exceeded my expectations. It was quite good. Directed by one of our favorite UNC alums, Peyton Reed.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah. And it was just, not that I expected it to be bad in the first place, but it just was really good. I was like, oh, wow. I thought this was going to be like a silly little thing, but it was just a great movie.
I didn't even know Peyton Reed did anything other than like a cheerleading movie and
Ant-Man.
Yeah, and Ant-Man.
This one, he's done a few other things, but yeah, this one, Down with Love, was one of them. It's about, now this plot, this is funny, I will say.
Yeah, what is this?
It's somewhat reminiscent of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Okay.
I think it's funny though because I think literally last week you were like, I liked How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, but you didn't think it looked good. Mm. I feel like this one looks fantastic. So maybe I could see myself showing. Yes, I could see myself showing you to this for like the podcast at some point.
Maybe one day
in the future, yeah. But it's about this. It takes place in the 60s, and it's about this girl, and she writes a book called Down with Love, which is basically like for all the women out there to not fall in love anymore, and so that how to empower yourself, and you don't need a man, you can get a job and like be successful on your own. And then she kind of creates this arch nemesis and this journalist at a men's journal or at a men's magazine.
Okay.
And he decides to write an expose on her and try to make her fall in love with him.
Oh, this
to
is
prove that she's
that's very similar.
Very similar. Kind of shocking. They came out the same year.
They came out the same
year.
Both
great movies. They did. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's kind of surprising that I think that one has existed more in like the pop culture realm than this one. But this was great, and yeah. I definitely recommend it, and I could definitely we might even watch it at some point for the podcast. Not anytime soon. I can't say it's like the next, not one of the ones I had in mind for the near future, but great movie. I loved it. It was great. It was super funny. I liked how they like really embraced like the 60s style of it all. Like not just like in like the, obviously it takes place in the 60s, but like the filmmaking like had like parts that were
it's a very 60s overall vibe.
Yeah, the acting is a little over the top, like editing, it looks great. It's awesome.
That's I've literally never heard of this before.
Yeah.
A nice actual obscure
I had
pick.
heard of it, but yeah.
Well, a fun fact I like? The other major UNC director on their alumni page, there's been some more in recent history, is the guy who directed Aliens in the Attic. You know that movie?
I feel like you mentioned that you don't like that movie before. Who's this director that you're talking about?
I don't know his name.
Oh.
He directed Aliens in the Attic.
Oh, I thought you were talking about another director from UNC that okay.
No, we don't know him.
I know. Oh, okay.
We don't know him. He's just a guy that went to UNC and he directed Aliens in the Attic, a hit movie.
I've never heard of it. I know you feel very strongly against it.
It's not I feel strongly against it. I just didn't like it as a kid. I probably wouldn't like it now. It was boring.
Okay.
There were aliens in the attic. I got it.
Okay, well, this was by Peyton Reed, our boy.
Yeah, Peyton Reed, our boy. Anyway, so the movie I watched for Tiny Teeny Little Movie Corner this week was Neil Breen's Twisted Pair.
God damn.
Okay, so for those of you... All right.
Yeah, we need to explain the lore behind this.
So for those of you guys who don't know, Neil Breen is an auteur. He's a...
Oh, that's how you're going to describe it.
He's an indie filmmaker.
Oh my God, no.
What? I'm warming up.
Are you actually going to explain what this is?
So people don't like him because he has a very... People just think his stuff is really bad.
It is really bad.
To the point of being funny.
It is... That's where
no, it's so.
Sometimes here's the thing, you guys. Tyson's not doing a good job explaining this. This man is a very rich man who is somehow able to fund his own movies.
We don't know he's rich.
I feel like we looked this up before. This is the second Neil Breen movie I've had to watch because of Tyson. I mean, I guess I agreed. I wasn't like tied down to a chair or anything.
Ronan,
but
I'm gonna send you a little section of the trailer for you to put in for the audio, just so people have some context. Like, I think you can tell just from the audio what kind of movie it is. I'll just send you like a little 15-second clip and you can put that in.
Justice is served.
He's basically, we believe from the little bit of research we've done, he's a very rich man who decided that he just wanted to make movies, except he does like all the acting and the camera and the editing. Like, he does it all himself and he's not good. Like, I'm sorry. I respect, try having a hobby, I guess. But, oh my God, they're so bad.
He's clearly, like, fulfilled, right? Like,
I mean, good for him,
The hierarchy of needs, he's fulfilled.
This is the type of movie that you throw on to play a drinking game and, laugh with your friends.
We didn't play a drinking game.
We didn't play a drinking game.
We drank.
We drank before, and I actually fell asleep when we watched it.
Okay, so Twisted...
Because it was boring, not because I was, like, crazy drunk.
It's boring
I was
because
bored.
you don't know what's going on. I wish I could describe the plot.
You want to explain the plot?
Okay, so Twisted Pair is about these two twins... And one of them is like evil Spock, so they have like a goatee. But one of them's like clean cut. They're the same guy, and he green screens them together in like a purple forest.
It's all him too.
Yeah, and it's
himself playing both twins.
God, what I don't even like their programmable virtual reality in the palm of his hand.
That's a phrase he says multiple times.
I don't. He has like superhero powers. He's like Morbius.
Here's my thing, is that I like watching a bad movie from time to time.
I know.
It's fun. It's a good time. The problem with this one and the other one that I've seen is that they are so boring. And like I said, I fell asleep. Not because I was drunk, but because I was bored.
Yeah. Well, look, I wish I could say, I think I might have been a little too far gone by the time we got to the end that I didn't know what was happening. Because listen, this is my fourth Neil Breen movie I've seen.
Jesus.
And I've been
Had you not seen this one before?
I think I'd seen the beginning half.
What's the Tyson a year ago invited a bunch of us over to watch another one. What was the other one that we watched?
Fateful Findings.
Fateful Findings. I think, although I complained throughout that whole movie, I thought that that was a little more entertaining. Like, I thought that was more like funny, at least. Like, I had a more fun time watching that. And it might have been circumstantial, I don't know, but...
He's writing about government secrets.
I knew I loved you when I was 8 years old.
All this time, I haven't been working on my next book. I've hacked into the most secret government and corporate secrets.
People dunk on him. But is he not doing the dream? He's making movies.
I mean, listen.
His art, he clearly has auteur traits.
That's a bold statement to make.
You can look at a Neil Breen movie and you know immediately it's a Neil Breen movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true.
And that's what we all want,
Listen,
from a creative.
He's allowed to have his hobbies. Good for him. Good for him. I don't want to watch them anymore. I'm sure at some point in the future I'm gonna have to watch another one.
No, yeah, maybe.
I mean, I agreed to watch them. You didn't tie me down to a chair and force my eyelids open.
You never know, man. This podcast is in its early days still.
Well, speaking of bad movies, do you want to explain what we watched this week?
Okay, so I made Kristina watch a movie called Kangaroo Jack, Let me pull up some factoids for you about Kangaroo Jack.
Okay, well, can I just make a prediction about what you're about to say?
Yes.
/ disclaimer. Okay, as we watch this movie, there's a lot of parts. This is supposed to be a kid's movie.
Yes, PG movie.
There's a lot of parts that do not seem kid-friendly. And I was like, whoa, this is a kid's movie. What's going on? And Tyson's like, oh, I can't wait to tell you about the production of this. So my prediction is that something happened where this was not originally supposed to be for children. And then they decided to change it at some point because... They didn't do a good job covering it up, if that's the case.
I didn't know if I should save this till after we talked about, like, the plot of the movie or before, but I guess I'll just go ahead and, like, tell you the story
I think we should say it now.
So we can kind of, like, look at it when
those scenes come up, yeah.
Risky moments arise. And there's a few. A lot of, heads up, a lot of boob stuff in this kid's movie.
Yeah, for a children's movie.
If you don't want to hear me talk about some boob stuff, unfortunately, this click off.
This is not the episode.
So, directed by David McNally, screenplay by Steve Bing, Scott Rosenberg. Scott Rosenberg actually has done a lot of stuff. He does.
There's, honestly, the people who were involved in this have gone on to do great things.
Oh, well, Scott Rosenberg has done some other notable things. I don't think David McNally or Steve Bing have.
Well, there's a lot of this. I mean, there's some really talented people in this.
I hate dunking on anybody. And look, this movie, I think, it just wasn't in the cards, right? This, like, sometimes you can try as hard as you want, and life just doesn't work out. If it is the case
that it was supposed to be kids and then it was adult, that's more the fault of the studio than anyone involved.
Yeah, it definitely was an adult-oriented movie. Stars Jerry O'Connell, Anthony Anderson. We love them.
Christopher Walken's
in it. Michael Shannon, who we didn't know. So, like, we're watching this movie and I'm like, oh, this is a stacked cast.
This is a
stacked cast for Kangaroo Jack. Ooh, this was released in January 17th, 2003. Okay, what? You're telling me to roll on, but people need to know the context.
Okay,
last thing I'll give.
The
budget, $60 million, box office, $88.9 million. So probably didn't make it.
Not great.
Back. So let me tell you a little story. So Kangaroo Jack was actually supposed to be like a crime comedy, like mob crime comedy, kind of like a Coen Brothers movie. You know, like like a dark comedy involving crime for adults. It was titled Down and Under. So they were. I think they were still going to Australia.
There was
It was still an Australia themed.
Was there a kangaroo in it? Probably not.
Yes.
Yes. Oh.
There was a kangaroo in it. In fact, when they finally did either a test screening or a screening for the investors or something, they showed the movie, and the only part that did well was the one scene with the kangaroo in it. So they were just like, okay, look, this is shit. So what do we do?
That's so stupid.
What do we do?
I can already picture what scene probably, if this was a mob movie, what scene probably had a kangaroo in it, and it's not a good scene.
No, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Look, I don't even know if I would show, if I had a kid. So then they
changed the movie to...
so they basically were like, okay, we're just going to cut our losses. And they basically just decided, you know what? We can bank on a kid's market that'll show up for a kangaroo. And they shot a little scene where he's dreaming and the kangaroo talks.
Yes.
And apparently when they put down the trailer, a bunch of people went thinking that this was going to be a talking kangaroo movie.
Well, I mean, this was 2000s. This was... Talking animal movies were big.
I know.
They were a big deal.
I know.
Yeah.
Does he talk in the Shaggy Dog? Have you seen the Shaggy Dog?
The Shaggy Dog?
You know, starring Tim Allen?
That sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't think I've seen it.
Listen, I didn't like that movie
either. I'm thinking Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Dude gets bit by a dog, turns into a dog.
Cats versus Dogs.
Cats versus Dogs
Underdog.
Is crazy. Underdog. You're just naming off a bunch of movies I don't like. Even as kids. There
was this movie I watched as a kid called The Dog Who Saved Christmas.
Sounds like shit. Sounds like garbage.
I don't remember it well at all. I have no idea if it was good or not. But...
Okay. So basically, they had to reshoot this entire film. Well, they didn't reshoot the entire film. They cut it around the kangaroo.
Had to pick and choose parts.
And they added a bunch of these little interspersed kangaroo things where the kangaroo's just kind of running around. And it has nothing to do with the movie.
I feel like we'll get into it.
Well, I know. I just want to preface this because I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to mention every single time we cut away to the kangaroo.
Sure, yeah.
So it'll just be we'll hang out with Anthony Anderson and Jerry O'Connell, our two main characters, and then they'll be in some life-threatening situation, and then
it'll just cut to the kangaroo.
Cut away to the kangaroo.
Like
the kangaroo's
being silly. hopping around.
It's like Scrat from...
It plays the same song every time, too. It's, like, supposed to be, like, this, like 90s hip-hop
Yeah, there's, like, this kind of Snoop Dogg
like,
sort of Gin and Juice sort of beat that, like, plays anytime...
every time the kangaroo
Anytime the kangaroo does anything, it's like... Bow, 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 bow. Oh, my God. But I'm gonna be honest. I expected this movie, when I said I was going to watch it for this podcast, I expected it to be more hilariously bad than it was. It was just kind of whatever.
It was just kind of bad. I will say, as we get into this, I wish this had been a movie about the kangaroo because you know what? Maybe the test people were kind of right because I felt like all my favorite parts was when the kangaroo was just being silly and those made me laugh. And then we cut back to the main story and I'd be bored and I didn't like it.
If this is your first time tuning in, I made Kristina watched the trailer for this at the tail end of the last episode. Do you understand why I did that now?
I don't remember the trailer.
Well, it was about the kangaroo. I was kind of hoping you were going to think, oh, it's a talking kangaroo movie, like a lot of people did.
I think I did.
And then
I don't think I was upset when the kangaroo didn't talk, though.
And then when it's about, like, two dumbasses on the run in Australia.
Yeah.
And a kangaroo steals their money or whatever, I thought you were going to be like, what is this?
Oh, no, I still felt that. But I don't know. I wasn't mad that the kangaroo didn't talk. I don't think I was.
Okay, a lot of people were mad the kangaroo didn't talk.
Apparently.
Also, they did do an animated direct-to-DVD sequel called Kangaroo Jack.
Jesus.
G'day, USA, where the kangaroo did talk.
Well, yeah, it was animated. They could get away with it.
Yeah, it's not canonical. I mean, I guess it is canonical. I don't know. Listen, it doesn't matter. But let's get into the plot. You know, what we do here at Shut Up and Watch the Movie is we go through the plot.
Explaining our podcast
somewhat
today.
beat by beat. Because listen, this episode, I hope, will be historic.
You're hoping this is the one that puts us on the map.
I think this is going to be the one that puts us on the map. So we'll go through this plot, and we'll just kind of talk about things as they come up.
Let's get into it.
All right.
Oh, God. I'm just remembering how the movie starts, and it's so stupid!
Okay, we're in the 80s. This boy just got married into a... Wow. Dropping up...
My empty...
Our historic episode, and you're dropping...
I'm sorry.
bottles.
You made me pause earlier to open your Pepsi.
Well...
Get over it. Get over yourself. Let's talk about the stupid movie.
Okay, we're in the 80s. Brooklyn. A boy...
Wait, Brooklyn?
Yeah, they're at
the beach.
Maybe, does Brooklyn have a beach?
It's in New York. It's in New York.
New York is on the coast. There's got to be a beach somewhere in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn?
I don't know. Are you a Brooklyn native? Have you ever been to Brooklyn?
I've been to New York once when I was in, like, second grade.
I've been to Brooklyn a couple times.
Oh, great. So you're an expert, so you should know the answer to these questions.
Yeah, and I guess they wouldn't put it in Brooklyn if there wasn't a beach.
I feel like there's not. It says Brooklyn has several beaches. I don't know. I just feel like a beach in New York City is, like, that can't be a good beach.
You're getting onto my ass for not knowing where Rome is. And you don't even know that there's beaches in Brooklyn.
Why would there be a beach in New York City? And is it nice? I feel like there's no way that's a nice
Brooklyn
beach.
is not New York City. It's a borough.
Brooklyn is New York. What do you mean Brooklyn isn't New York City?
Isn't New York City just one of the borougws, Manhattan?
No. Oh my God, Tyson.
No, I'm talking about Manhattan.
Oh, you're gonna get so mad. Oh my God, you're gonna call me stupid because one, you don't know where Rome is, and two, now New York City is made up of 5 boroughs.
Yes.
The 5 boroughs make up New York City. Manhattan is not.
Manhattan is one of the boroughs.
Yes, so is Brooklyn.
Yes. Okay, I was thinking Manhattan and New York City were interchangeable.
No.
Okay, don't act like that's so stupid. You clearly knew what I meant. What I meant.
No, I didn't. I thought you were saying... No, because you're saying that Brooklyn is not the same as New York City.
You're painting me as a dunce.
Brooklyn is in New York City. No, you're painting yourself as a dunce.
Okay, this podcast... this podcast is turning into a kangaroo court already. Is that funny? The fact that
Let's
I said
just be
kangaroo
clear.
court?
There are 5 boroughs.
Yes, I know.
Brooklyn's one of them, Manhattan's one of them.
Great. Okay, so we're in 80s Brooklyn on a beach, and this boy gets married into the mob because of
Well, that's not what. Yeah.
No, I mean this happened before. He's on the beach.
There's a lot of voiceover backstory in this. One of my personal pet peeves when watching any movie ever.
Probably because they had to add all this last minute.
Yeah, that's so true.
It was they
were like,
put him on a beach.
We gotta put some backstory on this.
And so the mobster dad is Christopher Walken. Basically, he doesn't like him. And he's got like a Superman action figure or something?
So, I mean, what?
No, it's not a Superman action figure. It's like a Superman watch or something, like a compass.
Oh, it doesn't even matter.
No, it doesn't matter. But he runs into this young boy who's young Jerry O'Connell. I think, what's his name? Charlie?
Wait, the main character's Charlie, and then the other...
Anthony Anderson
is
Lewis.
Lewis.
Or maybe it's Louis. I don't remember.
The fact that we don't even know.
We never know.
I feel like it's Lewis.
Okay, we're just gonna say Lewis.
I feel like I remember him saying Lewis.
Yeah, I think I remember that too. But
I feel like it's not Louis.
So they meet on the beach, and he's like, "Can I have that compass?" And he's like, "No."
None of this matters.
And then Charlie goes into the ocean.
Charlie goes for a swim and then starts drowning.
Yeah, and starts drowning. And so he runs in.
Where's the lifeguard? Lifeguard.
Okay, this is my first question. Yeah, Lewis runs into the water to save him, and he rescues his life. And everybody's like, "Yeah." And they become best friends.
Everybody starts clapping. And I'm like, okay, what bothered me, listen.
Does everyone start
clapping? I was a lifeguard for like 7 summers, okay?
Okay.
The kid was so obviously drowning. Like, somebody needs to do their job.
He was barely off the coast, by the way. He wasn't even
see someone drowning, you gotta go get them.
I know. I'm just saying, like
lifeguard. Like,
how could he have been drowning? He wasn't even past where the dock ends.
Maybe there's a riptide. You don't know.
That's what they said in the movie. They said there was a riptide. However,
okay, if there was a riptide, how the hell did the other kid get in there and the kid out? There's no way. Also, okay, here's my problem with this: is that this happens, and then this one scenario where what's his face? Lewis saves Charlie is the crux of their entire friendship. Okay, they go on to be friends for years, and like 20 years later, he's still reminding him. He's like, "Well, remember that day when I saved your life at the beach? You owe me, man." And it's like, no, you don't. Like, you don't anymore. That is so like their whole friendship hinges all that. Like, it's not like that's the thing that like. Yeah, no, exactly. It's not like that's like the one thing that like that happened and they were like, hey, like, let's be friends. Like, I like you. You're cool. They do like each other. They are friends. But that's the relationship is like, well, remember when I saved you from drowning that one time? Yeah, like, you have to pay me back forever.
So apparently, okay. So
stupid. Bad.
Lewis apparently gets this guy in trouble, like, on the regular.
Yes.
And apparently Lewis is like a not just like influence. Regular trouble, like disastrous trouble that you would get sent to jail for life for. Okay, so we're adults now. We've jumped 20 years.
You fast forward, like, about 20 years.
And so now Charlie runs a beauty salon, which is like a front for the mob.
Yes.
Or like a money laundering scheme.
It's like some sort of money laundering thing, but he doesn't, like, because for his stepdad, who's the mob guy, but he does not care about the mob. He just wants to own his hair salon.
He just wants to.
Now, I didn't know if I should bring this up now, but I think I'm going to.
Do it. Go ahead.
When they first introduced Grown Up Charlie, my brain went, gay, okay? Gaydar went off. I was like, that man, no. And then the way he and Lewis are talking, I'm like, oh, they should be gay. But then I'm like, no, this is a 2000s children's movie. Like, there's no way the main characters are gay. But there is a lot of...
We're not just saying that as like... At first,
I was like, wow, like, I'm gonna... Of course, I shouldn't just look at someone and try and, like, assume their identity or anything. But there's so many jokes throughout the movie where they are trying to play them up as gay, and it makes me think that in the R-rated version of this...
I don't think they were gay in the R-rated version, but I think
there was, like, some maybe homoeroticism, and they were maybe playing it up as, like a joke. As a bit. And then, because of that, there's, like, still remnants of it in this version. Because there's several parts where I was like, gay! Like, I was right!
Jerry O'Connell is... Okay. This is not meant to be... I'm just observing. Jerry O'Connell as like a hairstylist, and he's got like a rolled...
Specifically that one scene of him in the salon.
Yeah, he's got his...
Because like the way it's rolled up and the way his hair is styled and the way he's walking around holding the comb. Like...
Yeah, it's like... I mean, like, come on.
That's why I was like, oh, they're gay. But then I was immediately, my brain's like, 2000s children's movie.
They don't make enough, like,
gay.
It's like there's something obviously cut out of there. There's a part where Christopher Walken's like, you know, when you lost your father... I sent you to beauty school, as men without fathers often do. And I'm like,
it's like what
the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean?
You mean men without fathers often go to beauty school?
Oh, I remember you getting... I don't think that's what he said, but like,
That is exactly what he said.
Like, what is he insinuating with, like, the daddy issues?
If you lose your father, you're gay? Is that what that's supposed to be?
Dude, the 2000s were
crazy. 2000s were crazy.
Were lawless times to be alive, okay?
This is a kids movie.
This is a kids movie. We haven't even gotten into the bad stuff yet. So anyway, I'm throwing that out there now because at this point in the movie, like 10 minutes in, I was like, gay.
And
I stand by that this movie would have been better if they had just let them be gay. But anyway.
No. Because then
there wouldn't be so many boobs.
There would not be the boob stuff.
Okay. Well, okay, so anyway, they're at his hair salon.
Yeah, so Lewis shows. I can't even remember what Lewis shows up. Lewis shows up. He's like, hey,
I was also really confused. I did not understand how
I have like an
about.
odd job delivering these TVs, and I have to, I don't know, drive this truck and deliver them. And for whatever reason, I need your help, like loading and unloading them.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I really don't want to do that. Understandably. And he's like,
and
well,
I
saved your life.
Well, I saved your life when you drowned when you were 10 years old, so you have to. And then, I mean, to his credit, Charlie's like, you're right. Okay.
Okay.
Like, stand up for yourself.
You can say no.
You can say no. It's fine.
And then, okay. Then they get onto the street and they're with their, I don't know, like what kind of truck is this? Like a delivery truck?
They're they're like in a big van because it has like a mail truck in the back.
Yeah. Like a UPS. Anyway, they drive it and the cops immediately are like, burr, burr. This is a stolen vehicle. Pull over. And then, I don't know.
Instead of pulling over.
Instead of doing that, he's like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh. It starts a car chase.
It's like literally a chase scene. Like,
what?
It's a whole chase scene through the city and the cops are chasing. It's like very elaborate too. Like it was a big, honestly.
No, like.
Probably a lot of money went into just this car chase.
Again, $60 million
The cars are piling up.
This is more money than Alex Garland's Civil War of this year.
Wow.
Just a little fun fact.
That's
the only reason is because I remember looking at the budget for that.
That is kind of a random one to throw out there, but sure.
But war movie, less money than, and this is without counting inflation either. With inflation, $60 million is probably closer in 2003 money, probably closer to like 80 million, 90 million. So,
I have no idea, but yeah, very elaborate chase scene.
And they're like causing pileups. I don't know. Probably numerous deaths. Why didn't you just pull over, Lewis? Why?
Anyway, they get to their location.
And then apparently it's Okay, here's the thing. They lose the cops for a second. And then they just pull up to the
They barely,
warehouse.
like, you would think, okay, if you had cops tailing you, you would think, let me get out of here. Like, let me go as far away as I can, make sure I've really lost them. They, like, pull over and they're like, all right, this is the building. And they start unloading the TVs.
Slowly unloading the TVs.
And then they also discovered they're delivering to a mob location.
His mob family, yeah. Charlie's mob family. And he's like, you led the police here? Motherfucker!
Because then the police show up.
Yeah.
Because they didn't lose them, obviously.
Yeah, it's like, obviously, regardless if this had been you led the police to this mob hideout or whatever, what was your plan when the police inevitably follow? They're like just like 2 blocks behind you. You didn't lose them.
No, they're right behind you. And also, I didn't understand what this job was and how he got it and why it was the mob related and then why none of this needed to happen the way it did.
No, I don't think so.
No.
It's not even clear how Lewis got the job.
No.
What does he do for work on the daily?
I was like, does Lewis know that he's working for the mob? I think he does know that Charlie's dad or stepdad is like a mobster. I feel like that they established that maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
So they
notice how there's no kangaroo yet.
We're not that far into the movie.
I guess not. We're in like the first 15 minutes.
And so they kind of, I guess, outrun the cops and the mob.
Don't they like jump in water?
No, yeah, they jump through a chute in the warehouse and it lands them off
in the port or whatever.
Yeah, I guess the New York port. And so basically Christopher Walken, I guess, gets that. I guess they outrun the cops. And Christopher Walken is like...
He gets mad.
He like, I'm going to give you one more chance to redeem yourself. I can't do a Christopher Walken.
I was going to say, was that you trying to do a Christopher Walken?
I did it all right.
It sounded
earlier.
like you tried to do, and then halfway through that sentence, you were like...
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna keep doing it, but...
I can't
He's like, I'm going to give you guys one more chance to redeem yourself. We got to deliver some money to some people in Australia. Mm-hmm. So you're going to go to Australia and give them the money.
Mm-hmm. To a Mr. Smith.
They plan to do that. Yeah, to a Mr. Smith. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Smith becomes a character.
Yeah, I know, but like, not really.
Yeah, actually,
really,
you're kind of right, I guess. So,
okay,
they go.
So they get
also, we're assuming this is like Inception rules because it's after 9/11 when this movie came out.
Yeah.
So they were just on the run from the police,
and they were able to get on.
Probably would not be able to go to the airport.
Plane.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And then I guess whatever Christopher Walken was able to do to make a call, I guess
make a call and be like, oh, they're good to get on the plane. So they get on the plane. Oh, okay. Homoerotic example, okay?
Okay, what part
is
this?
They're on the plane.
Oh yeah. First.
Oh, okay.
Before they're going through TSA, and he discovers, oh, I have $50,000. That's what's in this envelope.
Yeah.
And
which, like, here's the thing. That's a lot of money. I'm not going to downplay $50,000. I would love to have $50,000 right now.
2003, $50,000.
But like for some of the crazy stuff that happens, I'm like, it's not like that insane amount of money, you know?
No, but I'm saying as a mob, you can't just not like you can't just like $50,000.
Yeah,
like any kind of business.
That's true.
You got to have every cent accounted for.
So they have this envelope with $50,000,
and then they start freaking out because they're like, "Oh, we have $50,000 mob dollars.
We have to go through security."
And well, that doesn't matter anyway. They get through security through.
I don't know what you're getting at. Then I don't.
No, but I'm just saying like. We need to know that there's $50,000 in the envelope, and that's about where they discover it. And so they're on the plane, and
what even happens?
No, it doesn't matter. Jerry O'Connell sees a girl. Oh, okay, we got to explain this joke. Jerry O'Connell sees a girl, and he's like, "Oh, hi," and he tries to talk to her. She's right by the
bathroom.
Yeah, the bathroom. And then, so he's going to the bathroom, and Anthony Anderson comes up with him with the envelope.
Oh,
and he comes into the bathroom
This is the part that I was talking about. Yeah. So then they go in the bathroom together, and it's one of those situations where they're having a conversation where we know they're talking about the money, but the way that it sounds, it sounds like they're talking about a piece of shit, 'cause they're like, oh, do we flush it down? No, it's too much.
No, it's like, how could so much green be in this tiny little brown package? It's like, what the fuck?
And so the girl that's sitting by the bathroom hears all that. And actually, you know what?
You know what?
I laughed.
Kristina laughed.
I thought it was funny. And I don't know what that says about me, that out of all the humor in the movie, the potty humor is what made me giggle. That they were talking about a big dump. And I thought that was funny.
It's not that. And the woman's looking and she's like shaking her head. She's like, that's gross. And they're like, okay, we're just going to carry it to Australia. We're going to put it onto our pockets.
Yeah, they were like, we're going to pick it up and put it in our pockets because it's just too big. We can't flush it down.
Also, why would they flush it down? That's mob money. You need to deliver it.
Yeah, like, you need that. Like, this is, you gotta get the job done.
So, funny little shit joke. All right. And then, but we also learn Charlie is a bit of a hopeless romantic in this sense. He's always...
He's like, oh, why can't I ever get a girl to like me? And it's like, well, bud, we're about to find out. Because
we're about to find
you do a lot of things wrong.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And also, probably in the R-rated version of this, people have thought you were gay.
I still think he's gay.
I know, but they probably explicitly said
he really likes boobs in this, though. So I don't know, maybe not.
He loves boobs in this.
He could be bi.
Maybe. I don't think in 2003 he was.
No, that's ultimately the crux of this is that this is a 2000 children's movie. He's not going to be gay.
Okay. So they land, and they get in a Ford Runner, or not a Ford Runner, like a Jeep. Yeah.
And they're driving
down the Outback.
They're singing along. They're having a good time.
Fun.
They're like, you know what? We're gonna deliver this money. We're gonna be off the hook. It's gonna be great. Whatever.
And they fucking hit a kangaroo.
They hit a kangaroo.
And you know what? For context, Anthony Anderson wears a bright red sports jacket.
It's like a Brooklyn jacket, I think.
Through a lot of this movie. Maybe it's like a Dodgers jacket or something, but.
No, it's not.
Not Dodgers. You know what I meant. Like the fucking whatever
Go ahead,
whatever the baseball team is in New York. I'm not even going to try to guess.
I want you to say it.
What, the White Sox? The Red Sox?
No,
that's Boston.
No, it's the Mets.
The Mets.
Although I don't think his jacket is a Mets jacket, but I'm not positive.
I don't think their color's red.
It's a red. The Mets are red.
Okay, look, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Clearly,
right?
I don't know. I've already been made a dunce of once this podcast. I will not be made one a second time.
They're red and blue.
Red and blue.
Well, more like orange.
Okay. Also, big debate we had in this movie. This jacket that's red looks orange through a lot of it.
Well, we'll say it was like, if it was Mets, then the Mets kind of looks more orange than red. I don't know. I thought it was a red jacket that said Brooklyn. Honestly, it low-key changed depending on the scene, and I think it's because we're about to find out. It goes on an adventure with the kangaroo, and I think that it was just more the animation than anything else.
So they think they hit the kangaroo. They think they killed it.
Their response to this, he's like,
oh, Lewis, Anthony Anderson, he's like, oh, look at this dead animal. No, first of all, Jerry O'Connell's reaction seems very normal. He's like, oh my gosh,
like, we gotta let's move it to the side of the road. Maybe do we call someone? Like, what do we do?
And Lewis is like, hey, he kind of looks like, I don't know, some cartoon character. And so they put sunglasses and the jacket on him.
And then they start taking pictures.
And Jerry O'Connell's like, you know what, this is pretty funny.
This is so messed up. You guys,
you think that's a dead kangaroo.
This is a children's movie, and they are playing with what they believe to be a kangaroo corpse.
You said this reminded you of Bluey. Not this part.
Not this part. Bluey's an Australian show, and there's another part that reminds me of Bluey. Not the dead kangaroo corpse. Jesus, this reminded me of RFK. That's what this reminded me of. And his bear. He like. What? Do you not know the story?
No.
The bear cub that he killed,
and then he kept it in his car.
No, well, he kept it in his car, and then he put it in Central Park. Do you not remember
I don't know
stuff
anything
out?
about
This came out months ago.
I wasn't looking.
Anyway, I'm not making a statement on RFK. It's just,
but it's just a funny.
This is what this reminded me of.
And oh man, but either way, like, all right, maybe this is why. No, he's immediately before this. Jerry O'Connell's like, he's like pouting. He's like, "What's got you down, man?" And Jerry O'Connell's like, "Man, it's about that woman on the plane." And he's like, "Oh, that's just, you'll find another one." And he's like, "No, it's just about the whole thing in general. I don't know if I'll ever find one." It's like, maybe your personality's broken.
Yeah, maybe if you think taking pictures, like dressing up a dead kangaroo corpse and taking pictures with it, like, maybe that's a you problem, dude.
Mm.
I don't know. That's bad. Don't do that.
Okay.
Hang on.
So the kangaroo wakes up.
And
then it's like, bow, 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 bow. And then it's like...
It kicks them, right?
He's like, the kangaroo's alive! And then it like beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that.
And then it runs away. And
then it runs away.
And Anthony Anderson starts crying because he's like, the money's in the jacket!
Yeah. So we have a problem now because the kangaroo has the $50,000.
And so they chase after it with the car for a bit and gets away from him pretty much. Do they crash the car? They don't crash the car. I think they
do.
Oh, they do crash?
They do crash.
Anyway, so look, I'm rooting for this kangaroo.
Yeah, kangaroo, entertaining.
Because, what, these two assholes...
These two guys are idiots.
Dressed you up in human clothing to be made a mockery and a spectacle out of.
Not cool. Not fun.
He Gordy's their ass. He Gordy home their ass.
It's really fun. Have you seen kangaroos fight before?
No.
I've seen like video. They like go back onto their tail. They use their tails to balance, and they like basically bounce back onto them and use their legs to like kick.
I'm gonna
sick.
Google a little video.
It's so cool.
Holy
I love
shit.
kangaroos, man. You know, like growing up, like you'd have to like introduce yourself and be like, you say your name and animal, so you'd be like Tyson Turtle. I was always like Kristina Kangaroo.
Oh, because that's a good one to have for
Thank
K.
you, yeah.
I don't even know what other...
The other option was like koala, which was also cool, but...
Also Australian,
Also
maybe.
Australian, yeah. But I liked Kristina. I feel like kangaroos encapsulate me a little better. So I like kangaroos. So, I mean...
Look.
Listen, the kangaroo won me over.
At this point, when they're crashing into, like, the crazy rock formations of the wild bush...
The outback.
The outback. I'm thinking... Wow, isn't cinema wonderful for the transportative qualities it has? It can bring you to a brand new location.
I feel like I did enjoy being in Australia, even though it came with its problems. But
and look, I love that I get to be here with a wonderful cast of characters.
That's a bold statement to make. I'm not going that far.
And a wonderful, silly little kangaroo. I can't wait to see more of this kangaroo in this movie.
I can't wait to see more of this kangaroo. The kangaroo, you guys, has like, what did you say, 7 minutes total?
Yeah, I found a YouTube video that recommended it's like all 7 minutes of Kangaroo Jack.
Oh my god. And it's the best part of the movie.
It's not the best part of the movie.
I think it's the best part of the movie. You would think the movie called Kangaroo Jack would have more of the Kangaroo Jack. Oh, also, that's what I was going to say. Okay, they start calling it like Jackie Longlegs or something.
Yeah, Jackie Legs. I think
why?
I think
did we miss
that
why?
Might be the cartoon character they thought it looked like.
Oh, okay, that would make sense. Is that a real cartoon character, or is this?
I'm googling it now.
Because they kept calling it that, and I was like,
Jackie Legs is specifically an invention for Kangaroo Jack.
Okay, because I was real confused, and I think I missed that they were like, oh, it looks like this animated character.
He kind of looks like the Energizer Bunny, except if he was a kangaroo.
Interesting. Okay, well,
it is a Brooklyn
that clears
jacket.
That up.
It is a Brooklyn jacket.
It is a Brooklyn jacket. Okay.
And so they're like, they go to a bar, and they're basically like, okay, we're just gonna drink a lot.
They're like, well, we have nothing else to do now.
No,
let's just drink beer. And this is a children's movie, by the way.
They find this old Australian man, and he's like, these Yanks can drink. And then he's
like, I like Yanks that can drink.
And then they all drink. Well, not Anthony Anderson. Anthony Anderson goes over to make the phone to make a call to Mr. Smith.
This is the part that reminded me of Bluey, because they call the bathroom the dunny. And there's a Bluey episode. For context, wait, hold on. In case you haven't listened before, I babysit a lot, so I've watched a lot of Bluey. I'm not watching Bluey in my free time. But there's a Bluey episode where, like, the mom's like, don't call it the dunny. Like, that's just, like, not the nicest thing to say. Like, it's not a bad word or anything. So when they said dunny in this, I was like, oh, I know what that is. It's the dunny.
Great. You know, this is what I'm saying. The movie is educational in some ways.
Yeah, did you know what the dunny was?
No, I didn't know that there was like a slang term for the bathroom.
Yeah, it's slang term for the bathroom, basically. But anyway, Anthony Anderson goes to use the phone that's over by the dunny.
Yeah, and he calls Mr. Smith, and Mr. Smith is like, I'm gonna kill you guys. He's pretty much, and Anthony Anderson's like, all right. And so he hangs up the phone, and he lies to Jerry O'Connell. He's like, hey, so he basically said it was okay. We just gotta get him the money soon.
We just gotta figure it out. Also, doesn't he meet the girl?
Yeah, no. So after this, Anthony Anderson goes to a wildlife exhibition thing
to like figure out like it's like some sort of
like conservation center.
Yeah, something like that. Like to figure out how they can get the kangaroo back.
And then he's like,
and there's a girl there.
Hubba. Yeah. There's a blonde,
there's a
beautiful
girl there who also another thing. She is her character's supposed to be an American.
And Anthony Anderson's like, an American?
An American what? And we're listening to her talk and we're like, she is not American.
She's not. She sounds Australian.
And we both have a theory that if they were filming in Australia, they probably got an Australian actress to play her, who, I'm so sorry, her accent is just not good.
No, it's like...
the Australian slips through a lot.
Which, look... It seems like no one was on their A game for this movie, which is perfectly fine. All right,
like
sometimes
it happens.
You gotta get that
it's
bad.
By far not the worst part of this movie.
I feel bad because what if she was like, "This is my breakout role."
Then she should have practiced her American accent a little more. I don't know what to say. It's not a good American accent.
And then she's basically like, "All right, here's a phone number for." Like a bush plane, someone that can fly you like low to the ground in the outback.
Oh, and she is in the tranquilizer dart too.
Yeah, so you can get this kangaroo. Because that's the only way I would think to catch the kangaroo.
Right.
And so Anthony Anderson goes back and he's like, okay, I found a beautiful, sexy girl. No, okay, Anthony Anderson does this thing where he spazzes out. For
where he's like, he's like, there was this girl. Like, it's so weird.
Kids movie.
For a kids movie, I was gonna say, I was like my reaction to Jude Law, but
I was about to say half the time on this podcast you're like, oh, Paul Mescal, Jude Law,
Pedro Pascal. Yeah, but I'm not in a children's movie, and also I don't make it that weird. Like he was weird.
He's weird about it, and so they call the number. But it turns out it's the
guy that they've been drinking with.
The guy, and he passes
whose name, by the way, is Blue.
Oh, that's also Bluey.
Yeah. So and he's like this old guy, but I guess he's got a plane.
Out,
yeah.
So then we immediately cut to them on the plane, and they're
like, hope we give him enough like coffee and Four Loko,
yeah.
or no, not Four Locos, Red Bull. I don't know why
Four
I said
Loko would make it worse.
I don't know why I said Four Loko, but Red Bulls, yes. Which like once again, just like I guess this joke's like not inappropriate, but it's like not for kid. Like why would a kid understand
this was
that
probably
like
the best joke in the movie?
The Red Bull thing?
Yeah, where they're like, okay, we're just gonna have to hope this guy can fly the plane. I mean, like, what else would you do? So they're flying in the outback, and he's got the tranquilizer gun, and they somehow, against all
another kind of crazy chase scene when you think about it, because they're like in a plane.
I guess you would consider the local area, but aren't kangaroos like fast? Can't they? They hop
can
really
move
fast?
Yeah, but they're in a plane.
No, I get that. How are they tracking? How would you even know where to begin looking?
For it? I don't know.
I understand that it has a bright red jacket.
It has a red jacket, so it's easy to spot.
It's easy to spot. How would you even know where to be within miles of where it is? They find it relatively easily.
Because it's a children's movie.
I guess so. I wonder if this was in the, I wonder if the kangaroo stealing the money... No, it couldn't have been.
I feel like this was not the plot of the original movie.
I wonder if they got into the plane.
My guess would be... if this were an R-rated movie, then they accidentally hit the kangaroo and did some other things with the kangaroo that were probably more inappropriate when they were taking pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Probably posed it in different ways. And then I don't know if the kangaroo would have run off. I feel like maybe that, like, getting back to the kangaroo was maybe, like, a plot point within a bigger movie. Or, like, that just, like, didn't happen.
Do you think the test screenings went well? Like, they thought the scene with the kangaroo that was good was them hitting and doing, like, what, fellatio with the kangaroo? Is that what you're implying?
Like, a little bit. Like, I don't know.
Anyway.
I know the scene that I think would have went well is what we're about to get to, where he's about to have like this hallucination where the kangaroo's talking to him. Yeah. That's my guess is.
Anthony Anderson's trying to shoot the kangaroo with the tranquilizer dart, but whoops, he accidentally shoots the pilot, and the pilot's like,
this man's an idiot. I actually hated his character so much. I thought I would hate him. I thought he was going to be my least favorite character, and then until the stuff that Charlie's about to pull, like, in 5 minutes, and then it was like, pissing me off. But yeah, he shoots, so then the plane crashes, right?
Yeah, he's like, oh, folks, I can't feel my arms. And then he crashes the plane.
They crash. So then the two of them...
so they're basically like, okay, and then the guy...
They just leave the guy.
No, the guy's like, go ahead, I'm just gonna use this radio and try to get some help.
Yeah, and they decide, they were like, we're gonna find this kangaroo. So then they start wandering through the Australian outback.
Oh, also, Anthony Anderson tells him here that I actually lied.
Mr. Smith is gonna kill us.
Mr. Smith is planning to kill us.
Right.
And then he's like, okay, if Mr. Smith is planning to kill us, he's probably told my mob family that we ran off with the money, and now they're going to try to kill us. And he's right, because Michael Shannon has been sent to Australia to kill him.
I don't think we established who Michael Shannon is. He's like one of like the henchman. He's a goonie or whatever.
Yeah, he's a lackey. Great villains.
He was good. I liked him in this movie.
I love Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon's super cool.
I don't think I've ever seen a Michael
He's underrated.
I don't think I've ever seen a Michael Shannon performance I didn't like.
Yeah. He's an underrated guy. He's great.
You know, he's in Zack
He was
Snyder's,
probably the best actor in this movie.
You know, he's in Zack Snyder's Man of Steel.
I didn't know that.
He's Zod. He's General Zod. Do you know who General Zod is?
No.
He's another man from Krypton. So he's equal in strength and ability to Superman. But he was like a criminal on Krypton. So imagine what crap he's gonna pull on Earth, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Uh-huh.
A little fun fact for you, because we're gonna watch that movie one day.
Great.
Anyway. So Michael Shannon's on the way to try to kill him. On the radio, the old man gets in contact, He gets in contact with, I guess, what the outreach center, like whatever the radio.
Whatever the radio, yeah.
But guess who's there first? Michael Shannon and his goons, and they tie her up, and like the scene is awkwardly cut because they're clearly about to kill her. It seems
like, yeah, I will say, it seemed like in the original it probably got way more violent.
Yeah, they're very clearly about to kill her, and it cuts like at a weird time, and we never see that character again. So even in the kids' movie, I guess they do kill her.
I mean,
I guess they slaughtered.
It's not like it was like
woman.
A main character.
No, I'm just saying
we have no reason to.
They slaughtered this poor woman.
They probably did reshoot that. Yeah, they just kept it.
They just
all right, well, that's too bad.
And so
now we have our
Anthony Anderson, and I'm not even looking at the plot summary for this. I'm going right off the dome.
You're going.
I remember this movie.
You're going
vividly.
rogue. I feel like I remember no details except for the ones that pissed me off.
Anthony Anderson and Jerry O'Connell are now walking in the desert, and they start hallucinating. And I think this is kind of silly.
First, there's like a Jeep.
Yeah, Jerry O'Connell sees
and it's just kind of like silly.
He's like, oh, Jeep. And then he gets into the Jeep, and he's like, oh man, tunes. And he puts the cassette into the car, and it's playing like, I don't know. I don't even remember. He's like, oh man, look, a slushie. And it's just him like playing in the dirt. Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
That was silly. That was like silly, harmless fun.
Silly joke for the kids. And so then Anthony Anderson's like, well, they cut to them walking later, and Anthony Anderson's
I guess like, this is when he has the hallucination of...
Yeah, no, Anthony Anderson's like, this was a mirage.
Yeah.
And so then they start fighting because they're just like, I don't remember why they started fighting, because they hate each other. Because
they have a horrible friendship that's like based on nothing. They don't actually like each other, yeah.
But their fight is broken up because Jerry O'Connell sees a beautiful woman.
Wait. Before that, there's the scene, he hallucinates a bunch of talking kangaroos. Which that's the scene that I think might have won audiences over.
I don't think that's here.
It's not here?
No, I think that's later.
Oh, you're right. It's a nightmare that happens later. No, you're right. He sees a beautiful woman.
No, he sees a beautiful woman, which is the same. Okay, what's this girl? We gotta figure out what we're gonna call her. Because she's
Jessie?
She's a woman, and she deserves to be named. We shouldn't just refer to her as beautiful, sexy woman.
Her name's Jessie. I'm looking at the thing.
Okay, Jessie. And he sees Jessie, who somehow found them.
This is the girl from the conservation place. She's a real person. But he's like, she's a mirage.
And then Anthony
So what does he do?
Anthony Anderson's like, Charlie. And he's like, shut up. Let me enjoy this. And you know what his first movement is? He takes both his grubby little hands
and just latches them onto her boobies. Like, oh my God.
This is a kid's movie.
This is a children's movie. You can't be doing that. You can't. Actually, regardless, if it was a children's movie, you can't be doing that. What do you mean?
No, it's like an assault, right?
Like, that is absolutely assault.
And then she punches him.
So she punches him, rightfully so, because he assaulted her.
And I think this is where he has the nightmare.
This is where he has a nightmare about talking kangaroos.
Yeah, the talking. Everyone becomes
so weird. Everyone becomes a talking kangaroo.
His dad thinks he's not manly enough.
His dad keeps repeating the phrase "chicken blood."
Yeah, he says he's got chicken blood. He's not
whatever that
manly
means.
enough. Anthony Anderson's like, damn, everybody hates you. I don't know. I can't remember what the.
You're never gonna get a girl.
And then the Kangaroo Jack is like, oh, I do rap songs.
This is the only scene in the movie where the kangaroo actually talks.
I don't even.
Oi, mate, come and get me.
And he's like, I love this jacket. Nice.
That was pretty good.
Man. What a movie.
So he wakes up.
Eventually. And then she's like.
She's like weirdly flirty with him. Like, oh my god.
She seems like completely fine.
She seems so chill.
She's like, I get it. It was a mirage or what? I don't even think she says that.
I don't think she says that. I think he's just like, oh, like, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. And she's like, it's okay. Like, it's fine. Like, she's like, oh, girl, get a grip. What are you doing? Stop it.
How many movies do we watch where it's like a guy does a horrendous thing to a woman and then the woman's like, I'm sorry. It's like, what?
Welcome to real life. Like,
I'm so sorry. Every time we do this podcast, I get a tiny little glimpse into
like,
the
I'm sorry
experience.
to women.
It's like when
it's okay, you're educating yourself.
When Roderick's mom makes him hold up the.
Oh my god, that part's so funny.
In Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
I'm sorry, women.
I'm sorry, women.
Yeah, no, bad.
And so they're at a little camp, and they're basically like, okay, so
She agrees to help them with the kangaroo. Also,
they're gonna pay her.
They're gonna pay her, but what they've told her is that the kangaroo got away with their wallets, their passports, and $4,000. She does not know that it's $50,000. That this is like mob money.
Yeah.
So she's explaining to what's his face, like, oh, I'm doing this research, but I don't have enough money. She's like trying to like help some like endangered species or something. And so he's like, oh, well, I'll give you $2,000.
$2,000 would not be enough to do any
also,
kind
that's
of
what
research.
I was saying. And she's like, $2,000? Deal. Like, let's do it. Like, she gets so excited. And I'm like, girl, like, let's be real. 2,000, like, not that that's nothing. But once again, not enough for her to get that excited. I don't know the amount of money that it would take to repopulate a species. That's not my area of expertise. I don't know. I have no idea.
If it was, we wouldn't be doing this podcast.
Right. Yeah. We would have real well-paying jobs.
We
probably
would be contributing to society.
But I have a feeling it's more than $2,000.
No, I can't imagine $2,000
would do that much.
Anywhere in research. That seems like that would evaporate immediately.
But she seems very thrilled about this $2,000.
There is a scene here. In the next morning, they ride out of the desert on camels, and the camels fart.
Oh, God. And they just fart. So, do we think this was a scene in the original movie?
I honestly don't know whether or not this was the scene in the original or not.
It's literally just the camels farting for like 3 minutes straight.
I feel like a bad adult comedy wouldn't be afraid to have fart humor in it either.
It's not funny.
No, it's not.
I mean, I liked the potty humor toward the beginning, but
not this one.
This one didn't work for me. I feel like this one also just went on way too long.
So they tried.
Like, I thought they were done farting, and then they started farting again. And I was like, all right, let's wrap it up.
And then at the end, there's like a ridiculously large, unhuman, like you could never produce a fart like that. And Anthony Anderson's like, oops, guys, sorry, that one was me.
And then the other two are like, just I don't know, laughing off of like the rom-com where they're like, Lewis, you're so silly.
Okay, and so they try to catch the kangaroo again using like, I don't know, like bow tie. Like
boas well, you know what happens here is that they put on all this like Aboriginal.
Oh yes, questionable.
Which like, listen, I'm not an expert on.
I know nothing about like what the Australian natives,
don't know much about the Australian like Aboriginals. I know if it's anything like the culture here we have with like Native Americans, probably not cool to be putting all that paint on. Also, there's like no reason for it. Like they don't address it. Like they just show up. It's not camouflaging. Like they literally just like next scene pop out and like have all this paint on, and it's like, oh,
well, you know, it's 2003.
That can't be. It's 2003.
People were not.
The rules were different.
They were supposed to be gay. Damn it.
They should have been gay. No. That's funny. I'm looking at my notes, and I don't know why, but the next thing I have after that Aboriginal comment is, in all caps, let them be gay.
Yeah, let them be gay. So they fuck up with the kangaroo because a bunch of fire ants get up Anthony Anderson's leg, which, by the way, he really has not been contributing to this operation.
He is like,
well,
it's like,
actually,
this is like when you watch a movie.
Anthony Anderson did actually get the plane initially. So,
I guess so, yes.
So he's not...
Fine, he's not totally useless.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those movies where I feel like this often happens in kids' movies, but sometimes it's also in, like, just movies in general, where you have, like, a really competent protagonist and their best friend is just, like, an absolute idiot. That's the situation we have here, where it's like, dump your best friend, okay? They're not good for you. They're not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
They're causing more problems. I swear to God, Lewis was pissing me off this whole movie.
Okay, if Jerry O'Connell is like this...
Oh, well, yeah, he sucks too.
Yeah, maybe it's because he has no other friends. Maybe it's because, like, clearly...
That's so true, actually. He probably doesn't.
Any other
This is probably his only friend.
So,
well,
they fuck with the kangaroo. They go to camp again. That was a full day worth of thing. And here's my favorite part of the movie. Here's my favorite part. So...
Jessie is, like, they found, like, a waterfall. So she's, like... taking a shower. She's clothed, but she's taking a shower.
Yeah, in the waterfall. And Jerry O'Connell comes over and starts stripping down. She's like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Well, she doesn't say that. But
well, she's like, "Hey, like I was here first." And he's like, "I don't mind." And it's like,
no, leave the girl alone.
Let her shower. And he's like, and she's like, "Well, I'm not leaving." And he's like, "Great."
And so he starts getting into the water. And then
he strips down to his underwear, and then they have God.
Have some flirtatious
what
banter.
hates me is that she's very much flirting back with him. Like, and it's like, no, girl, stop. He's not great in any way, shape, or form.
Your relationship so far has been he touched your boobs,
grabbed your boobs,
and then he offered you $2,000.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, that sounds like he's trying to cover it up.
Yeah, they do this whole thing where they're like, I don't want to kiss you. Great, well, I don't want to kiss you either. Well, it's like, well, I'm gonna kiss you anyway.
And then they have a deep, sensual kiss.
And then they kiss.
And then he says,
and then the banter keeps going.
And then he's like, that was the most sensual kiss I've ever had.
Yeah, it's like kids movie. Don't say that.
Well, apparently the R-rated version
I forgot that he said that.
Apparently the R-rated version of this had extensive sex.
Yeah, I'm sure that they were not fully clothed.
No, well, I think she was probably wearing the clothes. I think they probably CGI'd out her, like the shirt, if it was wet and white, probably was see-through.
Oh, yeah, you're probably
right.
Not
that I was looking for that, to be clear.
You're probably right. That makes more sense.
I wasn't looking, but I think...
Because I was just thinking they might have reshot that part, but no, that makes a lot more sense if they just CGI. Yeah, because... Then, he said, that was the most sensual kiss ever. That's just so... Don't say that. That's so creepy. I think they probably
have sex here, but in the kids' version...
and then she's like... Well, they do this whole little back and forth thing where they're like, oh, like, I've had way better kisses than that. It's like, oh, so you think that I can't kiss better than that?
And then they're like, oh, let me prove you wrong.
Ugh.
Would that work on you?
No. None of this would. If I was showering and someone walked up and I was like, hey, go away. And they were like, no, I don't mind. Immediately, no. Like, what do you mean? Like,
no. What?
No. That's, I feel like that has to be harassment. Like,
Probably.
No.
And they, I
think I'm also just pissed off at this whole movie, though. Like, none of this is... I'm like, oh my God, girl, what are you doing? Like, he's not great. Also, well, at this point, she's pissing me off, too, because I'm like, get a grip. Like, $2,000 is not going to save the bilbies or whatever it is you're doing, okay?
She clearly sees something in Jerry O'Connell.
Clearly. I don't know what.
Again, like I said, I think in the R-rated version of this, the scene probably ends with them going all the way.
Probably.
But fortunately...
I would say, unfortunately, Tyson
jumps off and does
he's like, jumps and does a cannonball, and they're like, Lewis.
Well, actually, he's probably mad he got cock-blocked. He's probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's like, you were trying to help me get a girl.
And now look what's happened.
What was B? But no, well, and I think in the movie that they're like, Lewis.
Everyone's kind of met up with each other because basically Mr. Smith...
It's like that night or the next day or something.
Yeah, Michael Shannon, I don't even remember. Nothing notable happens, if anything does, between them in the waterfall and them all meeting up.
No, it's Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith, Michael Shannon, and they basically they come to a standstill because they're like, where's the money? And they're like, Well, we don't have it.
And they think they're lying because they're like, no, we know you like hid it somewhere.
No,
and they're like, no, a kangaroo has it. Like, we swear to God.
And then the kangaroo shows up, Jackie Legs, and starts fighting with them, and they start chasing after each other.
I don't even remember.
I don't remember the exact, PEMDAS of events here.
Well, okay, the kangaroo shows up, and they're like, look, the kangaroo has our jacket, we weren't lying. Because they're basically getting ready to kill them. Like, they're like, you don't have our money, we're going to kill you.
Because,
also, at this point, Jesse's like, hey, what's going on? Like, this is not, you said there was just, your own personal money.
Yeah.
Who are these guys? What do you mean there's $50,000?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me any of this? So then that's the big moment of wow, you lied to me. I can't believe you did that. It's like, girl.
She doesn't, but I mean, I don't even remember this, her really getting upset about it.
She does. I mean, a little bit.
Yeah, because I was about to say, because it doesn't seem to make any difference when...
we should be mad about the fact that the first time he saw you, his instinct was to just grab your boobs.
Again, okay, in his defense, he thought it was a mirage.
That's still a red flag.
Yeah,
that
I agree.
You see someone, the first thing your thing goes, boobies. Keep your hands to yourself. Jesus. Oh my God. Anyway, they're basically, as they're trying to explain the deal with the kangaroo shows up. And they basically all start chasing each other in their Jeeps. Yeah. It's another chase scene.
A lot of guns and shootings, by the way.
There's guns, they're shooting at each other and the kangaroo, and they're trying to chase the kangaroo, and I feel like this is the third chase scene in the movie or something. My eyes have
glazed over by this point.
I'm trying to remember anything about this chase scene.
Doesn't really matter because...
Also, we're at the third chase scene of the movie. Okay, here's what we've got. We have our protagonists. We have the mob. We have Mr. Smith. And we have the kangaroo. Whose side are you on right now?
Oh my God. Pick one, the rest are coming to kill you. Okay, look, I'm picking... I saw your eyes go what the fuck? Oh, I guess I would be on the kangaroo side.
Yeah, that's the right answer. I am also on the kangaroo side.
Kangaroo's also strong as fuck.
My mentality at this point is everybody, you all go kill each other. I do not care. Leave the kangaroo alone. Let the kangaroo live. Let this he's just a silly little guy. Like we said, there's been random points where he's just popped up and jumped around a little bit.
Yeah.
To the 90s music.
Okay. And then for whatever happens, they escape. And then they're dangling off a cliff. This is where I remember checking back in with the movie.
Okay, yeah. So because they all get to a cliff or whatever. I mean, I think I guess Michael Shannon and Mr. Smith got to each other. I guess I don't know where they are at this point.
Really remember.
But they make it to a cliff, and then first of all, they it looks like they go over the cliff, and it looks like the kangaroo goes over the cliff. So at this point in the movie, I'm screaming, "Where's the kangaroo? Where's the kangaroo? Oh. What happened to the kangaroo?" But what we're supposed to be caring about is Lewis dangling off the cliff, but I don't care about him. I just want to know where the kangaroo is.
Yeah,
but
and Jerry O'Connell saves him off the cliff.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, actually, I think around this time, Michael Shannon reveals, hey, we only sent you to Australia to do this final thing. We were going to kill you anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So he's true. He's officially like, you know what? I've had enough of this mob family.
Yep.
It only took you
he
that
stands
long to
up for himself. I guess that was supposed to be his character arc, is that he would never stand up for himself.
Blood.
And he did. Yeah, chicken blood.
Chicken blood or whatever.
Yeah, whatever Christopher Walken was saying. But yeah, I also think it's funny when Lewis is dangling off the cliff, because it's supposed to be the beginning, and it's like, wow, he saves his life, the debt is repaid. I wanted a Mufasa moment.
It's along with the
where you think he's gonna save him, and he just lets him fall off the cliff. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. But then he comes back up. They have another very intimate moment where they're hugging, and they're like, wow, you saved my life. You're the most important person in the world to me. And I was like, oh my God, kiss. What are we doing?
So what?
Please. Well, and they even say, oh my God, what do they say? I forget if I wrote it down or not. That because Jesse's right there, and they're like, we're having a very intimate non-gay moment. They say that.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, so
they had to have acknowledged it earlier.
I feel like it had to have been a whole bit in the original movie that they were gay and they played it up. I felt validated when they said that, because I was like, okay, so it's not just me projecting something on. I was like, I don't even know what I would be wishing onto this, but I'm like, there was so many points throughout the movie where I was like, kiss, you love each other. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, wait. I didn't even catch this in the movie. They said the money was for Mr. Smith to execute them. They were going to pay for their own execution. Kids movie.
When did they say that?
I don't know. Michael Shannon must have revealed it.
Jesus.
So Anthony Anderson actually helped him.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, and then the police show up.
Yeah, and they arrest him.
How did they even get there? I don't even know. But the police show up and they arrest everyone. And then you know how I was really worried about the kangaroo? The kangaroo shows up.
What, they get the money from him?
They take the jacket off the kangaroo.
You'll never believe this.
Well, I was saying he hops away and then he comes back with his family. And it's so cute. They're like, wow, look,
he's got a family.
Kangaroo family. And then the kangaroo family beats the shit out of it.
It's so funny.
And it is really funny.
It's so funny.
And also I just enjoyed it because I was like, I hate all of these people. Like, yes, let the kangaroos, like, let them have it.
It's so funny that the kangaroo
really funny.
shows back up with his family.
Because it's like another kangaroo and then there's like a baby one and they all just like jump this guy. It's the kangaroos jump the guy because kangaroos jump.
That's bad.
Oh. Okay. Well.
And that's basically they.
And then
we cut again to a year later. They use the money. They're on a yacht.
Yep. This is so stupid.
There was like one throwaway line in the middle of the movie where they find where the conservationist shows them some berries. Just shows them some berries.
And they're like, wow, these smell really good.
They're like, women would pay good money to smell like this in
New York, yeah.
And then it's like, what the fuck?
And then at the end of the movie, they make a perfume line from those berries. And they have a yacht.
And guess what? Jerry O'Connell got to marry Jessie for some fucking reason. And Anthony Anderson does a cannonball into like a tiny little pool on the yacht, and that's how the movie ends. No, wait, and then we cut back to Kangaroo Jack and he starts speaking again and he's like,
it's like a little almost like blooper thing they used to do for movies, but it's the kangaroo doing all that.
Why wasn't the movie more about me? It's like they acknowledge it.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we know you wanted to see this.
He was like, I thought this movie was called Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah, thought this movie was called Kangaroo Jack. They acknowledge the fact that they know that you wanted to see more, and they're like, you thought this movie was going to be about a kangaroo? Joke's on you. Get over it.
Okay. So quite the adventure we just went on.
Oh, and their logo for their company is like a kangaroo.
It doesn't really matter.
I just thought that was a detail. One that I actually picked up on, because apparently there's all these where they're like, oh, Mr. Smith was going to be the one to kill them, and this and like, reading through this, we were like, oh, that makes more sense now. Yeah. The whole Jackie Leg thing.
Yeah. Look, man. What an adventure we went on.
You made me watch a movie, that's for sure.
Let's look here. I'm going to look at the critical response thing on Wikipedia. Rotten Tomatoes reported that 9% of 115 critics gave Kangaroo Jack a positive review. Cinema Score... Right. What the fuck? Cinema Score. Do you know what Cinema Score is?
A-.
Okay, Cinema Score is specifically on delivering the promise of the movie. No, it didn't.
It didn't do that at all.
That means audiences went and they were like, yeah, we got what we expected. No, you didn't, though. I thought you complained about it.
No, you wanted a talking kangaroo.
Joe McGovern in The Village Voice described Kangaroo Jack as witless and stated, the colorless script seems to have written itself from a patchwork of Wile E. Coyote cartoons.
You know what my favorite fun fact about this movie
Camel farts and every high-pitched Aussie cliche to have echoed on these shores. What?
This movie in 2004 won a Kids' Choice Award for favorite fart in a movie.
Oh, man.
It was nominated for a bunch of Razzies, too, but it looks like they lost out to Spy Kids 3D.
Oh, my God. Okay, I'm just looking very briefly here.
This is great.
At the premise of Kangaroo Jack. G'day, USA.
G'day, USA.
The animated direct-to-DVD sequel, released only 1 year after the movie.
Yikes.
77 minutes.
Wow.
2 years after the events of the first movie, they find themselves back in Australia. I'm actually...
Oh, the same guys?
Yeah, the same guys are back.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Listen, I've
been
hating on this movie because it's not good, but it was fun to watch, honestly. Like, I feel like sometimes it's fun to watch a bad movie, you know?
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, go ahead.
For Kangaroo Jack, Good Day, USA, Ahmed Best voices Lewis, Anthony Anderson's character. Ahmed Best is best known for voicing Jar Jar Binks. Misa want to see Kangaroo Jack.
It all makes sense. That makes so much sense.
It's all connected.
I would say his character in this is kind of like a Jar Binks type.
I propose that
like, shut up and stop doing things.
I propose we get this for the apartment, but I think maybe we should just get this for the podcast studio. There's a building down in Burbank that has a life-size Jar Jar Binks statue. And I think it would be worth the investment to get it.
No.
I'm
not living somewhere with Jar Jar Binks.
If we started video recording the podcast tell me a Jar Jar Binks statue wouldn't be an amazing prop for the set.
Wouldn't
it be funny?
I don't want to have Jar Jar Binks like looking at me.
I don't care what you want.
I care. Oh my gosh. And the thing is, too, that I'm sure people would love if there was a Jar Jar Binks.
That's what I'm saying.
And I would hate it.
What a great prop for the
Where are we going to keep it? Are you going to keep it in your room?
Well, I mean, it would
do you want to sleep with Jar Jar Binks watching you?
I think it would just be in the...
Because we're not keeping it in my closet. I'll tell you that right now.
I think it would just stay on the podcast set wherever that is.
We don't have a podcast.
I know.
Our podcast set is currently a closet.
You don't want him in the corner of your closet, so every time you come into the closet and turn on the light, he stands right there?
I would hate that so much. I would like cry myself to sleep every night.
What's the urban legend? So it's like, oh man, that's so weird. I turned on the light and there was a Jar Jar Binks statue in your closet. Did you buy that recently? He's like, I didn't buy a Jar Jar Binks statue. And it's like actually a Jar Jar Binks.
I would hate everything. Now, one thing you said a while back was we should get a suit of armor, and I'd be down with that.
Jar Jar Binks inside the suit of armor. Okay. I'm
not living in a building that has Jar Jar Binks in it.
Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, any concluding thoughts?
Look, man, the movie was just whatever. Honestly, not as bad as I thought it was going to. Look, but I also don't think Cat in the Hat's bad. I actually genuinely like Cat in the Hat.
Here's my thing.
I think there are bits of this movie that I find very funny, and I can't tell whether or not that's because the movie's actually funny, or if it's because I'm so cooked with irony and cynicism that I'm like, isn't it funny that this exists?
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I was going to say, from a purely critical standpoint, Cat in the Hat is absolutely better than this. The look of it is much better. It's a cohesive story. It looks pretty nice. From my own personal opinion, Cat in the Hat causes me so much stress, and I genuinely just do not enjoy it. This movie, not good. Can't say I, enjoyed it, but, it's almost like a... I don't even want to say so bad it's good, because that's not it. It's just fun to watch a bad movie sometimes. Uh-huh. That's what it is. And this one... There were parts where I had fun. I don't think it was good.
There were parts where you had fun.
I don't think overall it was a great time.
Look,
but
I'm just glad I got to go down under with my favorite podcast co-host.
Great.
Isn't that? Give me a high five. Our hands can't reach.
Ah! Okay, there we go.
This podcast has really brought us together in a way that we get to experience things like Kangaroo Jack.
Don't make it weird.
I'm not making it weird. I'm expressing my love for Kangaroo Jack.
Okay. You just said you didn't. It was whatever.
No, but I love that this podcast has given us the experience. I think my takeaway is that
this movie would have been a million times better had, one, it been actually about the titled Kangaroo Jack, and two, if they had just let the guys be gay, because the whole time I was waiting for it to happen, even though I knew it was never going to happen.
Challengers, but it's them too, and then Kangaroo Jack.
I bet there's fanfic. About the two guys.
I'm sure
it exists out there.
Okay, wait. Actually, before we go, I'm just going to look up Kangaroo Jack fanfic. Maybe read a little bit. Kangaroo Jack fanfiction. Kangaroo Jack fanfiction archive.
Well, where are you looking?
Oh, here it is. Danger Down Under. We're just going to...
Are you on Wattpad?
No, I'm on something called fanfiction.net. Okay. I'm just going to read the premise of this, and then I'm just going to flip to a random page and just read a little section. I just kind of want to see what this is.
It's really graphic.
I don't care. Okay, here's the premise. Danger Down Under. A year after the events of Kangaroo Jack, Charlie and Jesse are happily married with a thriving hair care product business. Yes, that's what happened. But when Mr. Smith escapes from prison and returns for revenge, Jesse must outwit the ruthless hitman while Charlie and Lewis race to save her. Okay, this was written by, I'm going to give her flowers, Lady Cordelia Stewart. But and when was this written?
What are the tags?
December 28th, 2015. Let me see if I can find the tags. I don't know if there are tags.
Oh, no. Maybe fanfiction.
3 reviews, 2,700 words, 3 chapters. Let's just look for... I'm just going to flip to middle of chapter 1. I'm going to skip past this prologue. Okay, so it's not dirty, but it's just what the fuck is this? Hi, honey, Charlie chirped, giving Jesse a quick peck on the lips. You're a bit late, she said, trying not to sound annoyed. That was my fault, Jesse, Lewis spoke up quickly. It always is.
Sounds about right.
I was working on my latest and greatest, and just wait till you see it. He dug into his backpack hurriedly, dropping bits of food and trash everywhere. Before he triumphantly pulled up a bottle of orange gel, he snapped it open and waved it under Jesse's nose. What do you think? She reflexively gave it a sniff. It smells like pizza? That's right, baby, Lewis growled, dancing around the room. It's going to be huge with teenagers. Really, Lewis? Jesse asked, unconvinced. She'd certainly never put that pizza-smelling gunk in her hair. Who'd want to smell like cheese and garlic? Hey now, y'all mocked my waterproof moose too, and that's one of our best sellers now. All right, okay. So I'm just gonna point out
props to the writer, because I feel like that really fits the vibe of the movie. Honestly, that's pretty good.
I'm just gonna. Oh, okay. Here we are. Finally, everything was ready, and the two of them could crawl into bed.
Two of who? Who? Who?
I think Charlie and Jesse. Oh no, Charlie. Jesse started some for old excitement returning. I have something to tell you, but Charlie was fast asleep already.
Oh yeah, so
they didn't even do anything. Damn it.
All right, thank you guys for listening. If you would like to leave us a review, we will read it on the pod.
I will read it on the podcast, good or bad. I will read it.
Good or bad.
There is no new reviews on iTunes. Let me just do a quick little check.
And make sure to leave us a good, solid 5 stars there.
Let me just check the comments on the holiday.
You
video.
can also. Oh, okay.
No comments.
Okay.
All right.
You can also. We have more social media than we did in the past. That's exciting. Yay. We have a letterbox, Shut Up and Watch.
Yep.
Instagram and TikTok are both Shut Up and Watch Pod.
Yep.
And YouTube, Shut Up and Watch the Movie. If you would prefer listening on YouTube, because that's an option now.
So many amazing options.
So many amazing options.
I know you're just screaming at your podcast player right now, and you're like, I want more Tyson and Kristina.
We're giving you the options.
You've got so many.
We've been trying to be more active on TikTok. I'm trying to make Tyson make some TikToks. Yeah. I'm going to talk to you about that after this.
Oh, great. We have some people to thank for the podcast.
We do. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to thank our friends. Thank you to Ronan Lilly for editing the podcast. Thank you to Bailey Johnson for our logo, and Justin Hickland for our theme song. Tyson.
Yeah. What's up?
Did you know that if you decide not to share this podcast with your friends, family, loved ones, etc., you're gonna get jumped by a bunch of kangaroos?
Oh, that's not that bad.
You're
gonna get your.
I feel like that's pretty bad.
You're gonna get your
getting
chest,
jumped by kangaroos.
You're gonna get your chest area.
Go look up
by. No, actually, no.
All right. That was worse.
Yeah, never mind. That's way worse.
I was just like gonna go look up a video of kangaroos fighting and tell me that that's not that bad. You'll be fine. That would kill you.
Yeah, that would kill you.
Yeah. So essentially, you'll get killed.
Great.
We both just escalated this more than it was ever meant to be.
All right.
All right, we tried. Okay, bye.
Bye.